I love you.
Love you too.
I really love you though. Like I understand what love means now. And I feel like there's so many people out there that don't know what love means. And I want us to just take a moment and describe like our definition of love and what love truly is. When you think of why you love me, why is that? What is your definition of love?
I think why do I love you?
Mm-hmm. Or you know what? Let's start off with defining love, and then you say why you're showing that love to me.
I mean, love to me, my definition of love is, of course, sacrifice. There has to be intimacy. There has to be attraction. There has to be. You have being without them has to not make sense.
Mm.
Like that's how I feel when you truly love someone. Like being without you don't make sense. So that's why I get to the point, okay, why do I love her this much? Or what does she really mean to me? And honestly, you complete me. I mean, I didn't believe in soulmates until I met you. And the more we grow and the longer we've been together, it's like, yeah, she was made for me.
Oh, I feel the same way about you. Love, I love how you started the definition off with sacrifice. I feel like it's because we've been learning what agape love is, love from God.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot of sacrifice. That's a lot of giving instead of receiving. And the worldly view of love is a lot of receiving and not much giving. So I love you because you've been showing me what true love is from day one. And I know that might sound so cliche to some people that's listening to our story, but I felt like a wife in year one. Like, because you treated me like a husband. Like you put on the role before we even got engaged, and you treated me like a queen. And I saw love before I even gave you the love that you deserve back. I got spoiled real quick. And I started to expect it. So much so to when we did start going through our hard times, when I called myself trying to date other people, I was surprised that every guy wasn't like that. Like, because for those of you that don't know our story, Kris is my first boyfriend. He's my first boyfriend, turned fiance, turned husband, and I called myself trying to date other guys because he was my first boyfriend, and I just wanted to I had this weird theory in my head, and had some other people around me that supported it, that there's no way your first boyfriend is going to be your first love. And I was 14. So we had a lot of different variables going on. And I remember saying, no way. So I tried to date other people after a few years of us being together, and they were nowhere close to you. And I'm being completely honest. I'm not just saying it to say that. I was so disappointed. So, I'm glad you sacrificed. Love for me is definitely that. Love is courage. You gotta be willing to put yourself out there, not knowing if you're gonna get what you're putting out back.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of courage. Love peels your layers, because when you truly love someone, you're being you. And it's not just this representation, because when we first meet each other, our representative is there. But as we get to know each other, that representative leaves, and you get to see the real us. And it's like, okay, do I love this real version of you, or do I just like how you look? And I can move on now, because now that I've got to know you, I don't like you no more. So love shows the real you. Love fights. Like, if you really love someone, you'll fight for that person. And we're here today because we fought for each other.
I mean, picking back off what you said, like, if we really think back to us, did I ever show you anything different? You know, like you mean like the representative come. Like, did I ever show you anything different?
The only thing for me that was different was the anger. That wasn't in the beginning. Like I'm talking about like date one. I'm talking about
Yeah.
that. Like date one, like okay, way back. Let's go down the timeline.
I was a gentleman.
You was a gentleman from day one,
and I've still been one.
You still a gentleman, but the peeling layers was the anger, it was the temper, and you know from my past that put me in a very dark place.
Yeah.
I could get emotional now if I talk too long about it. I couldn't date somebody that could potentially hit me one day. I just couldn't put myself there. So to even see you get angry, even if it wasn't at me, bothered me, especially though when it was at me. So that was for me. It was my trigger. Like you didn't have to be anything else for me. That's all you needed to be, and I did not like that. Now I had to learn though that just because someone gets angry doesn't mean that they're a bad person. And that I shouldn't just use that over your head. I had a bad habit of calling you a ticking time bomb. I had a bad habit of like, you started to get reserved because you loved me so much that you didn't want to get angry. But at the same time, you couldn't be yourself. So I had to give you grace to allow you to be you. And in that, you wasn't, in that, the anger started to go away. With me just accepting you for who you were. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, in the sense of just, okay, we're talking about love, but just what you was speaking into me, and it's just like, we're watching the show Lucifer, and I love the show. But it's a very dope show. It's a very dope show. But what we was learning is how man and how he's perceived is not how he wanted to be.
Exactly.
So we kept saying evil, 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 devil, devil, devil. So you were like, well, maybe I should be this. So in a sense of you steady saying ticking time on, ticking time.
You became that.
You kind of built it up. I was like, wait, that's how she views me.
Let me be.
Why not be that?
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I had to learn as I got older that I don't have to be what people call me. Mm-hmm. Because at one point in time, I started seeing myself as, okay, the a-hole. I'm a ticking time bomb. I'm mean. I'm verbally abusive. All that. But I had to get to a point where I was like, no, I'm not that. Mm-hmm. I got angry just like everybody else.
Yeah, it's a common emotion.
Yeah, like, you know, maybe my temper is a little quicker than the others, but that don't make me a bad person. So I'm like, I'm not finna continue to call myself all these things when I'm not this.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I had to continue to heal from my past because all I did was paint you as that future man that I could be dating. When you wasn't there. Like mm-hmm. You didn't do anything wrong to me, you know. I'm learning that a lot of the way we love each other, how we choose people, a lot of stuff is defined from what we grew up seeing. If we were in an abusive home, we either go towards a person that kind of has those traits or completely out of that range. We either want to be like what we grew up seeing or we want to be totally different from that. And I just didn't realize it had affected me as much as it did into my first relationship. It opened a wound that I thought was healed. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was 3. So I didn't know that would be something that manifests in my first relationship. And it stayed there for a while. Like I've told you before and I'll say it again. I'm sorry. You know, I'm sorry for painting you to be the monster that you wasn't. You know, and that's love, to admit your wrongs. Mm-hmm. And forgiving, yeah. Love is forgiveness. So I'm sorry.
Yeah. And as people continue to grow, you have to understand you have to know how to love a person. Mm-hmm. You can't love everybody the same way.
You can't.
You know, so
I fight with that too because I want to give everybody this gullibility that I have. Like I want to give everybody this open heart.
What?
Gullibility.
Just gullible.
Yeah, but that's not gullible. Yes, I'm a very.
You can't put ITY on everything. And just, like,
I'm a very
No.
gullible person, and some people love that, and some people love to use that. They love to use that for their advantage. And I used to not think it was anything wrong with being gullible to everybody, but because some people can use it to their advantage, I gotta be careful with who I open my heart to, who I spend my time with. Like, boundaries are important, and as I've gotten older, I understand that now. Have boundaries. Everybody doesn't deserve my heart.
Boundaries with everybody.
Everybody.
Family too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Everybody doesn't deserve it.
And
that's love too. That's self-love.
Yeah. A lot of time people want the love they're either getting or they're not getting.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I think I got so set in my mind that, I don't know, when we first got together, I just felt like I just had to love you. You know, part of me felt like maybe it was because of your background. Maybe it's because of all the abuse you saw and all the things that you went through as a kid. And part of me felt like I had to somewhat save you from it. I felt that sometimes. But then, you know, the older I've gotten, the more I've read God's word and understand that, no, we were just supposed to meet. I was supposed to, I showed you that love do exist, because in some sense I felt like you would never had love, because for one, you didn't grow up with it, and for two, it took somebody who really would not let you go to love you. Because you was going to do the same thing you did to me to any other guy that met you. You was going to, as soon as you found stuff you didn't like, you was going to push it hard, push him away as hard as you could. And a lot of guys would be like, all right, well, I'm going about my business. I didn't quit. I held on as long as I could. I'm talking about to the very end.
Yep.
And it took somebody with that mindset to marry you. Because, you know, it's not speaking ill in your life, but if not me, who would have married you? And that's not to say nothing bad about you. It's just how many men are built like me. It takes a specific person to love a specific person. Mm-hmm. You know, there's people out there who are in love and they just bland people. They kind of just the same person. And they love each other. But it took somebody specific to love you. Like, love you. And I'm talking about through everything. Because you did everything you possibly could to get rid of me.
I did.
Everything. Whether it was talking bad about me, stop talking to me, exiling me, like you said, dating other men. You did everything possible to run me away. And I didn't budge. So every man couldn't have loved you.
No. And also, I want to go back and add that you were my first boyfriend, though.
Yeah.
And, you know, there were a lot of things that I just didn't know because it was my first relationship. Back then, we definitely didn't have the godly perspective that we have now. So it wasn't like I was seeking a word for advice. And I didn't see a lot of healthy relationships around me. So to see someone that's loving me so much, it seemed weird. It seemed unnormal. It just didn't seem right. Like, my own grandparents fought all the time and, you know, did some other things that wasn't the best example of love. So they were married. So I'm like, this guy don't really love me. That's really what it was. I didn't really believe you. You don't love me. And I remember like when I gave you my virginity, I remember thinking, we gonna break up in a few months now. Like, now that we finally had sex, that's what he was here for. So he's gonna go. Like, I kept thinking there were gonna be moments in our relationship where you were gonna go. When you graduate, you're gonna go. I mentioned virginity. When this happened, you're gonna go. When that happened, you're gonna go. You just never left. So it's like
it's been a long
it's like I was
months.
preparing myself for something that wasn't meant to happen. I wasn't looking for you. But God had other plans for me. I wasn't looking for you. I wasn't looking to be engaged. I wasn't looking to be married. I wasn't looking to have children. 33 by the time I'm 29 years old. I wasn't looking for this. So since I wasn't looking for this, I was so focused on being that headstrong, black, rich auntie woman that I kept pushing you back because you weren't a part of the plan yet. You can come later, but you wasn't a part of the plan now. And I believe there's a lot of women out there doing it today. I really do. I definitely am a victim of being that woman that wants the career first, that wants to achieve all her personal goals first. But what if God wanted you to have both? Because it's not impossible. It's not impossible to be a married mom that's successful with her own business or in corporate America or wherever your dreams are. That is not impossible. Yes, you can't be as selfish. You can't be as selfish. But along the way, you get to learn a lot more about yourself. You get to unlock things you never thought you had in you. And it feels better having people around you to do it with rather than you doing it by yourself. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm learning. Like even today, as we shot content, I kept giving myself grace because I had a calendar full of stuff to do, but it wasn't hitting on the time marks. And I know by this time we're going to have the kids again and all this stuff and all that stuff, dinner, lunch, all that good stuff. But I kept saying, Ori, just be present and enjoy the day with your husband. Y'all are running your business together. Enjoy this process. Stop putting everything on a time frame and just enjoy the time. That's what I'm learning. And I want to encourage you ladies to really seek God and to ask him to reveal to you if you're being that nitpicky woman that's pushing love away when God is trying to give you that. It's a gift. And everybody won't receive it. So if there's something in you that's hindering it, ask God to reveal it and work on letting it go. You look like a proud dad right now, Kris.
I thought you was ending the show.
You look like a proud dad. I mean, we can end the show.
Yeah, that's dope though.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for men out there? Because your tactic towards getting me is not, like you said, not like how the regular man would do it. So what's your advice towards pursuing a woman that you really do believe God is leading you to, but she's kind of just pushing you back? Should you keep going? What should you do? What's your advice?
I mean, just as straightforward. You have to weigh the pros and cons of a woman. And in the pros list, if the pros are too valuable to lose, then that's when you know she's more than just some woman. You mean, if she has something that you can't live without, you have to pursue until she gives you a clear reason
not to.
Yeah, that she's not interested in you. Then you know where you stand.
Yeah.
But like I said, you pushed me away, but you never closed the door.
No, I loved you so much.
You never closed the door. So my advice to men is you just have to follow your heart. It ain't gonna lead you wrong. It might lead you to a heartache, but you just stay focused. Because if I wouldn't have followed my heart, we'd have broke up probably 14 years ago.
Yeah.
So, and now we've been together going on 15 years, married 6 this year.
We have 3
kids.
Children.
So think about if I'd have been selfish, all that wipes away. Like our 3 kids, they never born. So
the legacy never goes on. We were watching this TikTok together actually of a guy. He was talking about the women and how, you know, a lot of them, some of them don't even want to have kids and some of them want to wait a certain time. And he was talking about how he went to a family reunion. He seen his grandma. Grandma had like 6, 7 kids and, you know, the generation after that. And he was saying how beautiful it was that from this one woman, all these people came from. And how that's how your legacy goes on. Because her blood is running through all of those people. And I remember watching that video thinking, that's me. You know, I've had 3 babies for my husband. When they have children, those are my grandchildren, so on and so forth.
If all of them have 3,
then
it just continues. Then they have 3 or 4, it just continues to go.
All that came from us.
Yeah, so follow your heart, y'all. you're messing up something that's bigger than you. So you gotta learn to love.
Yeah.
And accept love for what it is.
Yeah. And along the way, you will. One thing I want to say before we end it is you can't love anyone else or expect love from anyone else until you love yourself first. That's extremely important. We were young and we kind of, I know for me, I learned that backwards because I was so young and I had a lot of insecurities, still fight with a few to this day. But I have to love Ori, and you have to be okay with if that person does leave, even if it feels like that was the love of your life, you're gonna be fine. And your life doesn't end with them being gone. You know, your life still continues. You are still valuable. You are still worthy. You are still beautiful. There's a lot of people that are watching this that may admire us and they want what we have. But even in your single season, you are a blessing. It is a blessing to be single, just like it's a blessing to be in a relationship or to be married. So enjoy every season of your life, because that's love too. That's love too. We love y'all. See y'all later.